we Japanese are such. Yeah. And it has a certain way of self-criticism and at the same time a sense of pride. Yeah, that I feel very much. And of course, each nationality has this kind of national identity, I think. But I feel that especially Japanese people are very strong. So I just wanted to know, since you've been coming to Japan a quite long time, if you noticed something about that. And also the point is that how does this DLT view kind of focus on this kind of identity? And from there, how to go into more deep essential self. Yeah.
I think every person, as a generally speaking, a national identity is not exclusive to one country or the other. I mean, some culture are more rich, for example, of traditions and or even financially, their powers. So for the person belonging to that, if you're American, you have big power behind you. If you're Japanese, you have big cultural, historical traditions, and Italians have their own history with history and creativity in art, music. So every country most countries have something to be proud of. Maybe some countries are more popular than others and have more history. So the person coming from that country has more to identify with, has more of this national identity that is a construct, is a kind of belief system about ourselves. It's a part of the personality structure. So identity is a part of the personality structure. So in the work, in the Diamond Logo, we don't really treat it differently from personality structure. It's one of kind of subroutine, one expression of the identity. As you say, sometimes we travel, some people or some stage in our life, and we find people from our country, and we feel safe. We feel we want to be together, maybe. We feel we are special, or at least we are safe with each other. Then other time we may travel and find people from our country and don't want to be associated with them. We reject them. So this is something that the ego structure does. Sometimes it kind of is this rejection or association is kind of similar. We either want to be the same or we don't want to be the same. It's kind of a process of saying I'm different than Japanese in this case, or I'm like Japanese. So it's still, we are engaged with that identity when we reject it. So rejecting part of our identity doesn't really work. We still have it inside and we pretend or we don't want to have it. And so we may do those kind of movements. So it's a complex question. There are many layers to this. We could, sometime, for example, we've been speaking with you personally before this interview. Some cultures, they keep in their tradition some essential values. Impeccability of the Japanese, the way that they can hold themselves, and integrity. So this kind of attitude, they're not only coming from the ego. They're essential. They're part of our true self.
Right.
So in every tradition, culture, attitude, there is some kind of connection to something true from the essential dimension. And that's what makes us identify more with it. Makes us proud because we know there is some truth in it, but then we may pretend it, or we may just be showing off about it. For example, But there is always something in the tradition, in the cultures that are preserving something from the essential dimension. And that's why we love them. That's why people love Japan. That's why people love Italy. Every country, Europe, different European country or different Middle Eastern country, they have some fascinating aspects. And those aspects, they're coming from the essential dimension.
Right.
And of course, then we can identify and make it like we only have it, we are special. The ego makes something exclusive, speciality, and identify with, and then becomes rigid. But there is some truth in the tradition, and then the person can make identity, which is mostly maybe just the attitude.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So, then one question came that I used to say to the Japanese friends when we discuss around those things, I said Japanese in general has a very beautiful quality of himajime, which can translate into the one kind of seriousness, but it's more like very strong intention, even a certain sense of dignity around certain things. So I think it's very much related to what you just explained that now, just now. And so if we picked up those kind of quality, how we can dig into the more true self, like from say if that personality is a door to go into the more essential stage, how can we go there?
So usually at the beginning, we may that integrity that you mentioned about Japanese sometimes can be a pretense. People may be pretending.
Yeah.
It's an habit. It's something that we may put up, present, but maybe it's not a real connection in the essential dimension. It's just we learn to do that, and we are polite and we behave like a Japanese, and that may not have a deep connection to the essential dimension. It's part of the mask.
Right.
But then we see, in other situations, you see maybe an older Japanese person with a lot of this quality, this integrity, this dignity, and you feel it. You feel it as you stay with that person, you near that person, you sense it. It's not pretending. You feel it in their bones. And so that when it happens to us, that we, by being Japanese, if I'm Japanese, and this integrity is arising in me, I can see that it's not a mask, that I feel it inside my bones, like when I see that person. So I start to recognize the presence of the essential dimension, the essential integrity is coming through my body. So we can, with the awareness and the understanding, we can start to recognize the essential dimension in contrast to the mask when we are pretending, for example. And we may not know. Now that we know, we may start to think, before, we may just not be aware of this integrity. Now that we have the map and the understanding of the essential dimension, we can start to recognize and see that this is really part of me, my being. It's not something that I do. It's something essential in me. And maybe my being Japanese in my culture helped me developing this, because our culture is helping us embodying certain qualities, because many people around are doing so. So it's like an example, a living example. So when we become aware, we can discriminate between the mask of integrity and the real integrity when it's showing up in my bones, in my being. And then with the understanding, we can start to, by connecting it, recognizing it, we can integrating it more. We can make it more conscious. So that's what we usually do with essential qualities. We recognize them, we discriminate from what the ego does with them, and then we allow them to be more present in our daily life all the time. Like this. I don't know if this answers your question.
Yeah, very much so. It's by listening to you that I realized that in a way this practice of inquiry during the retreat can give a big chance to really understand about ourselves, like what you just told me, that this difference of the either I'm pretending or I really feel in my body. Yeah, so like to get to know about this experience is kind of give us real understanding about this difference, or what is real actually.
The inquiry practice want to bring not just we can understand what we're talking about, but understanding is not the same like recognition and discrimination in our experience. So we can talk about it, understand conceptually, but then we need to see what the difference in the experience, and that the inquiry can give us the possibility to discriminate between, for example, pretending and being it, and then and not just discriminating, but also that process, beside helping us discriminate and experiencing the difference, it also creates the possibility to connect consciously to that quality, and that connection make it more available in the future.
Yes.
It's like we touch it consciously, and that open up more towards us.
I see. Yeah.
It's a little bit like, it's like it's the truth of what we are. It's our truth, and the more we see the truth, the more kind of becomes explicit, becomes expressed and present in our life. It does wonders. It's like it's like a magic, the way it works.
Okay. Very understandable. It's really, I'm happy to listen to this. Okay.
Yeah, so this I think is fundamental in our work, it's not a philosophy, it's not something to just improve ourselves with understanding with the mind, and it's just really how to recognize the part that is more real in us and allow that to be more and more present in our experience and in our expression, in our relationships, in our life. So it's a practical, it's something that allows us to do. It's like we call it the work. It's a process of integration and expressions of the essential quality.
I see. So additionally, I have another thought right now, that although I put up this theme of national identity, but then before I start to interview, I was taking time to really consider what else I might be able to ask you. Because yes, it's true, I myself was time to time I was feeling that I have very strong this national identity, very strong. Yeah, that was in my head all the time. But these days, something changed. I think it's not losing identity, but it's like I start to see the more could be I might be able to see more essential part of this Japan. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I really can describe those feelings, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. Like the more we recognize the quality inside the being Japanese, for example, the less I need to be Japanese.
Yes, yes. That's
Because the Japanese and the quality are two different things. The identity is capitalizing on the quality, but there's not the quality. So when I say I'm Japanese, I can feel that integrity. But if I really embody that integrity, then I can let go of being Japanese, and I still have that integrity that the Japanese culture want to that embodies. So then I become more free from identity, and I become more rooted in the essential dimension, which may be sometimes coming as integrity, sometimes maybe come in a different shape. So then I have more flexibility as well, because I can be sometimes Japanese, sometimes Italian, sometimes I can let different aspects in my being, because I'm not that to be always this impeccable Japanese. I can be sometimes light, carefree, like Italian musician. I can allow different state of being, and don't conflict with me, because otherwise, if I'm identified with the Japanese, it would be conflictual. A Japanese does not behave like an Italian. He's not,
Yeah.
And so if I'm free from the identity, then I can let anything happen from my true essence. And so I can be so many. So that's what life becomes more. We become more changeable. We can be embody different aspects, and we don't have a fixed identity. This spring, this phenomena of changeability and different aspects that are coming up in us become our true identity. This spring of different aspects that coming out of being. So it's wonderful. We shift from being Japanese or Italian into something more dynamic. The mystery of being a human.
Being a human. Yes, very much so.
Yes.
I'm
And
happy.
this is one, is the outcome of the work. That's what we want to be. But it's not about, being achieving some exotic, esoteric state. Of course, that can happen, part of it. But the idea is to become human being, because we are wonderful. It's amazing to be a human being when we are free from certain fixation, limitations, identities. So that is like the realization is, at the end, is very simple, just to be a normal human being, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
I'm
See you
very
next
happy
time.
with this one. See you next time.
Bye-bye.